Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here we are, it's Blue Coats Chelsea FC. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, or the Stamford Circus, as we might as well call it at the moment, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. Oh, putain, bordel de merde. It's horrible, isn't it? It's just bad, and there are zero signs of things getting any better. So do you know what, guys? I'm not going to do much of an intro. We're just going to get straight into 10 facts. I decided to have a little chat with ChatGPT, because instead of researching all of these things for myself, I wanted to talk about some of these things, but I didn't want to put the time in. I'm not going to lie, you can probably understand why. Here are 10 facts about Chelsea season thus far that make for some unwanted reading. Number 1, worst league losing run in 33 years, 6 consecutive Premier League defeats, first time since 1993. I was 4 years old. This is the headline stat of the season. Number 2, nearly a club record goal drought. Nearly. João Pedro's absolutely stunning bicycle kick saved us from this one. Came within minutes of 6 straight league games without scoring. That would have been the first time in 121-year history. Thank you, João. Appreciate that. Number 3, one of the worst home runs ever. 4 consecutive home defeats, only the second time in club history, first time in the Premier League era. That's genuinely historic, in a bad way. Number 4, joint most goals conceded from corners, club record equaling. 11 goals conceded from corners this season, equals worst ever since 1994/95 season. Tactical weakness, set piece defending. Long frozen corners, isn't it? Oh, we love it, we love it. Number 5, we all know about this one. Most red cards in the league. 7 red cards is a league high. No other Premier League team has got 7 red cards this season. Indicates a lack of control and poor defensive structure and discipline. I think it indicates a little bit more than that too. Number 6, collapse out of the Champions League race. We are now in 9th place, 10 points off top 5. From expectations, a complete drop-off. So this was literally it, like, Nottingham Forest put out their B team. Relegation threat, Nottingham Forest battered us with their B team because they've got a game in Europe. And it's not going to happen for us now, is it? It's not going to happen. Number 7, this one's pretty bad. Worse form than relegation teams in our recent run. Even relegated sides have performed better in the same period. That's brutal context. Thanks, ChatGPT. Love that. Number 8, a match-specific low about the Forest game. We lost to a rotated Nottingham Forest side. I just said that. Forest rested players for Europe, still won comfortably 3-1 away. Context makes it worse than just the scoreline. I love all the little addendums that ChatGPT gives you, just to really drive home how bad all this stuff is. Number 9, conceded inside 2 minutes. Early collapse, game effectively gone immediately. Repeated issue this season, slow starts, right? Slow everything, not just starts, mate. Slow everything. And number 10, this is a big one. Fans leaving early, symbolic low. Thousands left Stamford Bridge early. Not a stat, but a huge indicator of fan disconnect. So, you know, people go in on AI, don't they, for being inaccurate and stuff, but are any of those 10 inaccurate? Are any of those 10 stats that I just read out inaccurate? I'd love to know. But guys, before we continue with the circus and the fun and the laughter that is being a Chelsea FC fan, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing this video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so we're going to move on to some tweets, because Nizaar Kinsella and a couple of other guys have been all over it since this game came out. The PR machine is in full force. They are desperately trying to put out these fires, but seemingly with more fire, which is never a good way to do it. PYS reposted this via Nizaar Kinsella. Club sources have stressed that accountability across the organisation is embedded through annual reviews and could draw in anyone at any level should poor performance be identified. More drastic changes are not being discussed mid-season. Everything is under threat, including attracting a high-profile manager. So what this pertains to in the grand scheme of things is the sporting directors, isn't it? The sporting directors not only thus far haven't been held accountable, but have actually been rewarded for their abject performances in the transfer market and putting the team together. So I thought this coming out from Nizaar Kinsella literally like not even an hour after the game. I can't even remember at this point, but it's interesting, isn't it? They are doubling down. They are doubling down. Let's try and convince people that everything is fine when it's absolutely not. What an absolute joke. We love to see it, don't we? PYS also posted this via Nizaar Kinsella. Chelsea are reliant on owner funding and loans to subsidise the club, which has long-term implications. Inside Chelsea, They say debt is a part of a highly structured investment approach common at elite sport, and there is a long-term plan for sustainability. So the thing is, there's truth in this one in terms of the debt they're not bothered by the debt, because debt is how you build big businesses. That's just the truth. Like, you look outside football, all the big businesses in the world are in huge amounts of debt. No one spends their own money. They always spend other people's money and promise them that they'll get bigger returns in the future. The issue is going to start to come with every passing year, that things don't get better and all of a sudden we're not making more money and these investments start to look a little bit scary, and the investors start to worry that not only are they not going to make a profit on that investment, but potentially they're not going to even break even if they were to sell the club. And obviously the problem with so the whole thing with the investors and Clearlake and all this, that and the other, they've bought it to make it more valuable so they can sell it on for more profit in the future. They want to sell this club for 10 billion or whatever in 10 years or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, with each passing moment of as of right now, it doesn't seem like we're getting any closer to that. Now, this is part of the difficult thing as well, isn't it? Because they are not football fans. We are football fans. So we look at what's going on right now: the pitch, the abject performances, the manager merry-go-round, the poor transfers, the all of the bad stuff that's happening in the football world, and they're not looking at the same thing as we are. What they are looking at their investment in terms of, are things going the way they want them to in the grand scheme of things? And the grand scheme of things, unfortunately, doesn't involve a lot of football, which is really what needs to start changing, isn't it? But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. It's complicated and it's very difficult to glimpse into the mind of a billionaire to understand how what we're seeing is so much different from what they're seeing. Do you know what I mean? And it is really, really frustrating. But the club being in debt doesn't bother them. They're fine. Yeah, cool, we're in debt, man. It's all right. We're supposed to be in debt. That's kind of part of the plan. Moving on, got a tweet directly, an ex-post, sorry, I don't even know what to call them anymore, directly from Ben Jacobs. Chelsea are now joint bottom of the Premier League's form table over the last 10 games. Both CFC and Burnley have taken 5 points and won just once. During this period, Chelsea are the joint lowest scorers at 9 goals, along with Wolves and Fulham, and only Burnley, 22, have conceded more goals than Chelsea, 20. So we're 19th for goals conceded. It is ridiculous. And you know what? That's just the Premier League. That's not considering the 8 goals that we shipped to PSG in the Champions League as well. So it's crazy. We are just awful. The most recent run of form is the worst run of form that Chelsea have been on for a really, 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 really long time. And it's driving me kind of nuts. So Chelsea Dodgers posted this. It's all just a knife in the back, one after another, sorry, at the moment, but it is what it is. Our last 6 losses in the Premier League, consecutive losses. So, we lost today at 3-1 against Nottingham Forest. We got demolished by Brighton 3-0. We lost 1-0 to Manchester United. We lost 3-0 to Manchester City. We lost 3-0 to Everton, and we lost 1-0 to Newcastle United. So that's our last 6 games. And 4 of these were home games. There's just no other way to spin it, is it? We're literally in free fall at the moment. I watched my friend Kai's video earlier, and it's like we just keep going. We just keep on going. It just keeps on getting worse. It's never, ever getting any better at the moment. And the thing is, I kind of expected this. Now, the realism of it is like being here feels awful. But when we put Callum and McFarlane in charge for the rest of the season, it was like, right, okay, so there's not really any interest in salvaging the season. Like, the season's a write-off. The season has been a write-off since... Well, since the abject Liam Rosenior performances in the grand scheme of things, but the decision to appoint Callum McFarlane to steady the ship, this isn't Callum McFarlane's fault, right? I'm not saying that at all. It's the same sort of thing with them putting Liam Rosenior in charge when the jobs are obviously too big for him. Callum McFarlane literally doesn't have his professional qualification in order to be a manager of a Premier League club. As of right now, at the beginning of the season, he was managing the under-21s. Do you know what I mean? He was managing the under-21s. So as soon as Callum McFarlane got put at the wheel, I was very much like, okay, well, that's it then. The season is just going to keep on getting worse. I thought we might pick up a win some points somewhere. Champions League qualification was always going to be tough. I was like, at that point, already with Callum McFarlane coming in, it was like, and this was our not safety game, but Nottingham Forest, relegation threatened Nottingham Forest, the B team, is going to be the easiest 11 we are going to come up against. We have to play Liverpool. We have to play... potentially resurgent Tottenham, who have got a lot to play for. And then we've got to play Sunderland, and Nottingham Forest are below all of those teams in the Premier League at the moment, and all of those teams in Spurs, Liverpool and Sunderland are going to put their best 11s out. We're not going to get lucky like we did today with Nottingham Forest, who put their B team out because they've got a game in Europe. Like, it's not going to happen. There's nothing else for anyone to play for. You know, Man City are in the FA Cup final. We know that because so are we. You know, we're the only ones that have actually got anything else to play for this season other than the Premier League. Liverpool will be wanting to get fourth, you know, try and push their way up a little bit, with Aston Villa seemingly dropping off, unfortunately, getting beaten by Tottenham, which was really annoying. But yeah, Liverpool are going to want to cement their Champions League place. Spurs are literally battling relegation and will be like a wounded animal. Sunderland, okay, maybe Sunderland have got the least to play for, but they're still going to put their best 11 out because they've got no reason not to, because they're not in any other competitions. So it's all just a bit horrible, isn't it? Here's another one. Carefree Youth. I found this. I thought it was quite funny. So, the Premier League table, as of right now, Arsenal at the top with 76 points. Chelsea are in 9th with 48 points. West Ham are in 18th, which is the beginning of relegation, with 36 points. There is a 28-point gap between us and Arsenal at the top of the table, and a 12-point gap between us and the relegation zone. Fortunately, we can only lose another 9 points. So, okay, we're safe from relegation, do you know what I mean? But that's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets. Look, maybe Callum McFarlane can pull a wonder and beat City in the FA Cup final. I'm not going to expect it, but it would be magic if it happened, just for something to go on. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, it's going to be a reasonably short video today. But I hope it's been full of mirth for you, and I hope that my inane ramblings about how poor Chelsea's situation is have brought you some joy. But what we are going to talk about is actually the really big news that has just come out about there are going to be 2 more protests before the end of the season, and the signs are that they have learned their lesson from the first one. The last protest obviously went really well. This one, these next 2, probably going to go quite well as well. We'll get into it now. So PYS posted this. Breaking news. Chelsea fan group announced 2 new protests. 1, before the FA Cup final. A march will get underway from 1:30 p.m. at Wembley Way, featuring a large banner that will focus on Blue Coat, but this time also the sporting directors. So the sporting directors are now, you know, I mean, they've been a target. You know, we're all talking about Lawrence Stewart and Win Stanley out or whatever. You know, obviously, they are really under fire. And obviously, you know, in one of the first tweets we saw, that was kind of about them as well, wasn't it? They are definitely under fire at the moment, but now the protests are going to focus on them as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that annual review, won't it, at the end of the season. Well done, boys. Great season. Oh, here's another pay rise. Number 2, during the Spurs match. This is brilliant. I really, really like this one. Fans are urged to take action on the 22nd minute, the year 2022 that Blueco took over, by turning around with your backs to the game for 1 minute and chant, "We want our Chelsea back." The protest is said to not be stopping until change is forced and will not be halted based on any reports leading up to the protests on the next manager's name. So essentially what the last bit is saying there, they're not going to stop even if we get... I mean, I guess the problem with this is Chelsea fans are so split as who they want as the next manager as well. Like, I'm more of the Alonso Fabregas kind of thing, but a load of guys are like, no, we need Premier League experience. Get Iraola, get Marco Silva. Some people are like, get Antonio Conte or Jose Mourinho to come back. So there isn't like... a really solid foundation between Chelsea fans about who we want the next appointment to be. So, but either way, what they're saying is these protests are happening regardless of any manager news, and that PR will not be able to satiate Chelsea fans, especially the protesting ones, in order not to do it. But I'm going to go back to the second protest because I did a video recently. It was about protests in football in general, where they've been successful, where they've worked, and where they haven't worked. So basically, no one has ever managed to protest their owners out before. Especially really big rich ones. It doesn't happen. What has managed to work is when they focus down and delineate the protest to focus on things that actually can change. One of the big amazing examples of this was the Liverpool walkout, right? I think it was the 77th minute. I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, no, that was it. It was the 77th minute walkout after Liverpool had announced that their season ticket prices were going through the roof. Fans banded together in the 77th minute, staged a walkout. I think they were playing Sunderland and they ended up getting a draw. And very, very instantly and quickly afterwards, that showed that basically pushed the change. The change happened within 48 hours of that happening, and they reversed the ticket price thing. They froze ticket prices for 2 years. Wicked, the fans did it. The reason that worked, the message was strong. It was a single message. They had a very ordered and organised way to protest it by leaving in the 77th minute. So obviously Chelsea fans are looking to do something very similar. It's a little bit different because we want our Chelsea back isn't as easy a message to, well, it's not as an easy thing to be like, how do you get it? Do you know what I mean? Rather than like, the ticket prices was one of the reasons that Liverpool thing worked really well. But still, the organised nature of it means that it has to be paid attention to. Now, if we combine that with the idea that the Chelsea fans are going to start protesting more about the sporting directors, then we could be onto something. Do you know what I mean? You could be onto something. Like I say, personally, as much as I think the protests are a great thing, I absolutely do, I don't think you'll get Blue. The only thing that will get Blueco out is a buyer or legal precedent, essentially, which is the reason that the Blackpool owners ended up getting out after years and years and years and years of protests from their fans, because there was legal evidence that they'd mismanaged the club financially. So look, if basically what I'm saying is, if the protests can stick towards the sporting directors and be organised in that thing in the 22nd minute, that's brilliant. I love that. That's really, really clever. And that's the kind of thing that might start to make a difference. That's the kind of thing that will make waves. And the really good thing about all this as well is this will be 4 protests by the end of the season now. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just a case of like a few people turned up to one and sang some songs or whatever. It's like, no, it's becoming more organised, and it will become harder and harder and harder to ignore every single time. So I really, really, really hope that these protests go well. 100%. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to either of them, but if the opportunity arises, I will try and get there, because it's a big moment and I do want to do what I can to support my club, and especially if the protest is being aimed directly at something that is likely to be able to be changed, I think it's more worth getting involved in. Like I say, I don't think Blueco out's ever going to work, but if we can hone in on the sporting directors and do things like they want to do during the Spurs match with the 22nd minute, I think that's absolutely brilliant. So guys, that is it for today's video. I am actually going to be in the studio, so this one's coming out quite early today. I'm doing more music. Fortunately, I've got something going on in my life, which means I don't just have to focus on Chelsea. I get to be creative and do something in another way that makes me smile a little bit. And because I'm not getting much in the way of happiness from being a Chelsea fan at the moment, but what I am absolutely loving, guys, is the interaction that I'm getting with you on this YouTube channel. Things have really started to pick up for me recently, and I love it. I think we could be on for a really, really, really big summer. My tentative goal, let's get to 3,000 subs before the start of next season, right? I think maybe, depending on how the summer goes, maybe we can do better than that. But for the time being, let's get to that 3,000 subs. Nice one, guys. Thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. If you did, I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.